So we're going to get started in just 1 second. We're just got a couple more people coming in here on the call, so um, we'll get started in just a few seconds. If you again have any questions, please feel free to put them in the question chat box, and I'll try and answer them throughout, or I can answer them at the end. And we'll be here as long as you need to get those answered. And again, turn off the phones, turn off the distractions. We went a little long last time, so I'm going to try and move this a little quicker today. And and so today is about R1, or that foundation, your reputation, and how to protect your brand and your bottom line from negative buzz. And to me, I really feel like when you look at reputation and you look at, let's say, reach, which is what we're going to talk about next week, um, it's a cart before the horse. If you're out there doing all this marketing and all this prospecting and you have a bad or a non-existent reputation, you're really putting the cart before the horse. You're really reducing the effectiveness of that marketing, and that's something we're going to talk about today. So, the next 30 minutes, why reviews are so important. We're also going to discuss how to protect your reputation, and then the process of monitoring, managing, and promoting your reputation online. So, the R4 marketing framework, we talked about this last week. We have reputation, reach, resell, and referral. Today's that first R, that foundation, the reputation. And I'm just amazed at how few people focus on reputation compared to some of the other parts in this framework. And honestly, this could happen to anyone. You see this review. I see these reviews everywhere, just terrible reviews. I guess I'll have to join the ranks of people complaining to the BBB, right? That is the last thing you want with your business. And what's even more jarring is that 10 people find this review useful, right? And this can happen to anyone. Consumers are so empowered. You look at another review, and I covered up the business name, but man, is that a terrible, terrible review. I will never call again for any kind of service. They'll tell you anything to get you to spend money. And what's really shocking to me is that this is a year and a half old. No one's ever responded to it. And down in the bottom, 24 people found this useful, right? That's the real kicker, is that this review is turning off prospects left and right. You know, more than one a month is finding this horrible, horrible review useful. So do you even know? I mean, is your business getting blasted online and you don't even know it? You're not even aware of it. Again, so many business owners are completely oblivious to what's being said out there, to what reviews are out there, and they're losing a lot of money because of it. And you know, it takes forever to build a good reputation, right? Years and years and years. But in only a couple bad reviews, it can all be gone, right? It can be destroyed. And so you've got to be proactive about building that fortress and improving your reputation. And this is a really interesting statistic. The Harvard Business Review did a study, and they found that for every 1 star difference in your average rating, it meant a difference in revenue of 5 to 9%. And that's pretty staggering. So if you are rated a 3 out of 5 stars and you bump that up to a 5 out of 5 stars, you can expect a 10 to 18% difference or increase in your revenue, right? And that's a statistic I don't think a lot of business owners are aware of in terms of how much that star rating affects the amount of people who choose to do business with you. And this is another interesting one. This is the trust in advertising. This just came out. And so it's the percentage of global online consumers indicating that they complete or somewhat trust each form of advertising. And you can see that number 3, consumer opinions posted online, and it's gone up 7% since 2007. So around 1% a year, it's gone up in trust, right? That's huge. And you can see the long list of other forms of advertising below it that people trust less. So not only does it affect your bottom line, but people are also really trusting these reviews. And we, again, talked a lot about that last week, is that trust in these reviews. And I think this kind of says it best. And negative reviews can hang an albatross around your neck if they appear prominently in search results. And just about all reviews now are become prominent in the search results. And so it can really drag things down if you've got those negative reviews. So protecting your reputation, how do we protect it? Well, we use the new PR, and it's three things. It's online reputation management, or what they call ORM. It's also a multidisciplinary approach involving old strategies and new tactics, and then being both proactive about it and reactive about it. And so here are the elements of ORM. So you've got to start with your policies and procedures, and few businesses have any kind of policy or procedure when a negative review is found. What do you do? How do you respond? And then who is responsible for that in terms of, if someone failed to do their job properly, or what are the policies and procedures for really everything on here, creating content, for monitoring, for getting new reviews, all that sort of thing. So you've got to start there. You've got to create content. So creating videos, blog posts, having photos out there. And that really ties in closely with social media management. And again, having enough positive stuff out there that it negates the negative stuff and it really positions you as the expert. So doing a lot of that educational marketing and being active in your social media. So if something does happen, if something does come up, you're right there to deal with it and to reduce any kind of negative consequence. And the last two on here is relationship building and mitigation and crisis management. So here are the three keys. You want to monitor, manage, and promote when it comes to your reputation. And monitoring, there's a lot of different places that people can say things about you and basically post reviews, those sorts of things. And so, social media is a big one, right? People, there's so many outlets out there. There's so many things people can say about you. So you've got to be monitoring that. Blogs, right? You monitor what other people are posting about your business. SERPs, search engine results page. And essentially what shows up when you Google your business, your brand. What shows up when your name is Googled, when the owner's name is Googled, right? What shows up in that top 10? We had a client who they started to have a court litigation PDF from a government site start showing up in the top 10 for their business name. And it was from years and years and years ago, but it definitely was kind of an eyesore. And so what we ended up doing is we were able to get their LinkedIn company page, and I think it was a house page and a couple other things ranked above that, and it pushed it off that first page. And that's kind of a classic example of monitoring and then kind of pushing those negative things off of that first page. Message boards and forums, as well as the big one, I think, location-based directories. So, Google, Yahoo, Bing, Foursquare, Yelp, Angie's List, all of those directories. There are a lot of reviews going in there. And finally, key influencers. So what are the big guys saying about you, saying about your company, your brand, that sort of thing? A couple free monitoring tools. Google Alerts, that's probably the most basic one. Essentially, it's just alerting you on keywords when something new is indexed. So not necessarily reviews, but let's say something new shows up for John's handyman service. Well, it'll send you an email letting you know. And that's kind of a basic one. Social mentions are really cool. You can go on there. I think it's socialmention.com, and you can put in your business name or any name, any term, and it'll tell you all of the places that it finds it across just about the entire web, but definitely in social media. And then TweetDeck is more for Twitter users. That's actually provided by Twitter, and that helps you kind of monitor what's being said in your market, your business, your name, that sort of thing. So those are a couple free monitoring tools. And as always, you can just do a Google search for your business and find the results that way. Managing. So one of the big things is you've got to claim your listings. I talked about this last week. Getting your Google, Yahoo, Bing, all these things claimed. Responding to complaints in these listings if it's necessary, and then encouraging positive reviews. Okay, those are kind of the three steps there. So claiming your listings, again, the big three: Google, Yahoo, and Bing. Then you've got Yelp, LinkedIn company page, Facebook page, Twitter, House, Angie's List. The list goes on and on. Um, and and Facebook is a really interesting one. Same with House. I'm going to show you a little bit more about that, where they've got star ratings in there and easy places to do reviews as well. And one listing I would add to this is your BBB listing. If you're involved with that, is people can go in there and leave reviews as well. There's a review page, and I think that's something that a lot of people aren't aware of. So here's just a screenshot I pulled, and you can see where that red arrow is, that um, Facebook is now showing the 5-star reviews right there, right by your name. And that's pretty much the first place people are going to look. So again, reviews have become kind of the center of search, but they're also starting to become the center of social as well. And you've also got how many likes and how many people are talking about it right there. So there's just this huge glob of social proof right when people look. And there's no hiding that, right? There's no, it's naked. Your reputation's naked, and that rating is right there. And so on the right hand column of this business page is where you can easily leave a review. So you can see you can put 1 out of 5 stars. What do you think of this place? And then I can post a review. What's interesting is I can see reviews that just my friends have posted about this business versus everyone. So let's say I'm thinking about using a handyman service, and I go to their Facebook page and I look to see if any of my friends have given them a positive review. Now you can just already see the difference. If I have a couple of friends that gave them a good rating or review versus no one, or maybe negative ones, the amount of social proof, oh yeah, Jim used them. Oh, whoever, your friends, family, whoever has used them and rated them, it's huge. It's enormous social proof. And it's really, really important that you take it seriously and that you proactively work to get these positive reviews. Here's what the BBB one looks like. When you search for a business, the right hand column will have a submit a customer review line of text there. And when you click on that, it'll take you to a place where they can submit a review on BBB. So you could send this link, this page, to your customers and have them give you positive reviews on BBB, which is also another great thing to do, is encouraging those reviews on BBB. So House, this is another one, and this is obviously specific to the remodeling and kind of contractor niche. But one of the biggest areas that affect where you rank in House and how many people click on your profile are the reviews. And you can see the reviews in green under each of those business owner names. And I just went to find a local pro. I didn't do anything else, and this is what showed up right away. And those reviews grab your eye right away. And when I go and click on the reviews, you can see that um, there's a lot of great information on here: the date, the relationship, the project price, everything. It's really powerful stuff. Plus, people have liked some of these reviews. So there's social proof piled onto social proof. And in House, you can also have other fellow contractors review you. You can have people who you simply sent a proposal to give you a review as well. So you can see right here under the your relationship to the professional, there's a lot of flexibility in who can give you a review, or at least kind of that source of that review. So this is another great area. I tell people, if there's one place, it's get reviews on House. Absolutely. If you're in that niche, if you're not necessarily in the contractor or home building niche, then obviously you want to focus on other areas. But in this niche, in that niche, definitely this should be one of your main focuses for reviews. So encouraging positive reviews, and this is probably the biggest point of struggle that business owners have when it comes to um, their reputation, is how do I get positive reviews? And there's a lot of options, a lot of things you can do. I guess I can walk you through a few, and I'd mentioned them in our previous webinar last week, but you know, it used to be where you could give people a gift card or something, right? Leave us a review, we'll give you a Starbucks gift card. And then that's against the terms of service. So then they started to say, well, we'll enter you to win a contest if you leave us a review. And because that gets around it, you're not directly being compensated. Well, eventually that's become against the terms of service for a lot of these places as well. So now it's to a point where it has to basically be a legit review because they also don't want you having a third party post reviews on behalf of someone. And not all websites that's against their terms of service. If you've got the permission of the person, and the review is legit and on paper. Some sites that's okay, many it's not, and it's really hard to create these profiles as well on behalf of people. So there's not an easy way, and there's a lot of companies out there um, that will do review gathering for you. And I just talked to somebody earlier today where they've got 300 reviews, okay, which is unbelievable. And they're all with this one company that does kind of post follow up and gets reviews and stuff. The problem is that those reviews aren't seen in Facebook, they're not seen in Google, they're not seen in Yelp, they're not seen in Houzz or any of these sites. You've got to go to that specific site to actually see the reviews. So it's one thing to have all these, but you've got to get them out in front of people. You've got to market these reviews. And that's the one part that a lot of those services kind of struggle with, is that those reviews are not getting seen by enough people. So what I would say is you could certainly do a contest. I mean, you can do some kind of compensation if you want, just knowing that it might be against the terms of service. A lot of people will call clients and just kind of be like, hey, we're trying to get more reviews. Would you be open if we sent you an email? We'll have a link in there. You can go to a couple different places, and then following up with them again. And it's a slow, painful process, but that's a natural process. And I think that if you just make it part of your culture, so you find a process or a system that works and just grind away at it. And all you need, studies show you need 6 to 10 reviews before people start to really trust those ratings. So you don't need a lot. You don't need 50, 60. Granted, that would be awesome. But if you can at least get 10 to 20 5-star reviews, you'll be set. And just kind of focus on those couple of key areas. You can also email people right after you complete a job. And again, follow up with a call, say, hey, I sent you this email. Could you leave us a review? And if you just make it part of that process, you'll eventually build up and you'll eventually kind of get it going. But encourage reviews in everything, in all of your offline marketing, in your email signature, throughout your social media, and just ask for them, right? Just keep asking for them. So responding to reviews, again, I'm absolutely shocked at how few businesses respond to reviews. And one of the interesting things is responding to even positive reviews. I've only ran into a few businesses that they respond to every positive and negative review. And to me, that's the ideal situation, is responding to when Jim leaves a review and he says, hey, it was great service. You guys did an awesome job. You were fast. You were clean. Say, hey, thanks. We really enjoyed working on your project. Hope you enjoy the new windows, whatever it is. That little personal touch is huge, and no one else is doing that. And in terms of responding to complaints, I mean, if they're really old ones, you probably want to leave it. And if it's, the trolls or nutbags or something like that, sometimes you want to leave those alone as well. But if it's, just a standard legit negative review, again, apologize and then tell them how you're going to make the situation better. So telling them, hey, because of this problem, we've now installed, this new person, this new position, this new process, whatever it might be. And then finally, you can tell them, email or call us, we'll try and make it better. Or you can just go and say, hey, again, we're sorry. If there's anything else we can do, let us know. So that's kind of a quick version of how to respond to the complaints that you might get on some of these things. And again, if you've got lots and lots of positive reviews, these complaints are going to sting a lot less. So another thing you want to do is promote, okay? And do social media promotions, local directory management, company blogging, website management, press releases, YouTube. Get those YouTube videos ranked. Do customer outreach, advertise. I mean, just really, you want to get as much positive attention, positive content, positive media and reviews out there as you can. And that's not only going to bring you more business, right? It's going to help convert. When we get into reach and resell, it's going to make those much more effective. But on the flip side, it's also going to protect anything that you've already built as part of your reputation. So keep both of those in mind. Now, best practices for reputation management, or ORM, right, is make it an ongoing part of your business. And very few business owners do this. Very, very few. They don't continually monitor and respond to negative reviews. They don't have a process or policy in place. They certainly don't get positive reviews out on Facebook and Google Plus and House. I find business owner after business owner has stacks, right, of reviews on papers sitting in their office, but they're nowhere else out there. And they're no good if other people aren't seeing them. And granted, you need to have testimonials on your website, and that's important, but you've got to get beyond just that, and you've got to build your reputation beyond just the website. Get them out on those things. So make it an ongoing part of your business, and be willing to face the hard truth. You know, it's tough when you get a negative review. It can definitely sting, and it is something that, you know, nobody wants. But I know that no matter what, you're going to get some kind of disgruntled customer or somebody that comes by and leaves a negative review. And so you've got to be willing to face that. You know, hey, I've I've had business owners where they say, yeah, that bad review that happened, we dropped the ball, right? And so you've got to be willing to face that. And then, you know, a bad apology is worse than no apology, right? So again, going back to responding to negative reviews, if you can't write a good quality apology, and if you can't, you know, say that, hey, we're doing this now and we dropped the ball or whatever, then just don't leave one, right? Because a bad one is worse than no apology. And the biggest mistake you can make is being defensive, or pointing blame on something or someone other than yourself. And I get it, every review has its own situation or circumstances, but that's something to keep in mind too, that if you don't think you can give a good apology, just don't do one then, and move on. And take complaints seriously, but not personally, right? So when someone does leave a bad review, you know, give it a good apology, figure out what went wrong, try and make the situation better, but don't take it personally, right? It's business. And know that the next time a situation like that arises, that you'll be able to handle it, and you'll be able to work through it, and you'll have a policy or a process in place that will allow you to deal with it, not so personally, but more on an objective business level. So that's it. Went through that pretty quick. I hope that gives you a good kind of idea of how reputation works, how it affects your business. And again, I cannot stress enough that before you do reach, before you're out there doing SEO and all of this other stuff, and radio and TV and print ad and all this stuff, work on your reputation. Get that system in place, build it up, because you will convert way more traffic than having a bad reputation or no reputation. And it really can be the dividing point between someone choosing you and choosing your competitor, right? And reviews have just become more and more center stage and more valuable. And because that process takes so long, then you've got to start now, right? And build it up. So if you've got questions, certainly put them into the chat box. And again, our contact details are right here. The remodelersacademy.com. We'll be posting the replay of this today, so you'll be able to watch it again, and you'll also get a link. And don't forget that our next webinar next week, Wednesday at noon Central, we're going to be talking about reach. So we're just going to kind of walk up the ladder. And again, first and foremost, get your reputation solid, get a system in place, and then from there, concentrate on your reach. And one question I got here is about getting reviews and what I recommend, for getting more reviews, getting more positive reviews, because people just don't want to give you reviews, right? It's like pulling teeth. And the biggest problem is that when it comes to giving a positive review, a customer is going to ask, what's in it for me? Right? I have to take my time. I have to log in. So what's in it for me? And that's the rub, because you can't necessarily make a lot in terms of what's in it for them, right? I mean, you can go against the terms of service. That's okay if you're willing to accept that, but you've just got to be patient with it. And I would say to find something that works. I know that when we do the emails. So probably the one way we found is a combination of phone calls and emails after a project is done, and staying on those people, because one little email is not going to do it. Two little emails might not do it, right? You've got to call, email, call, email, right? And keep doing it until they complain, really. I mean, these reviews are so valuable. You saw that. If you just increase your star rating, you could bump up 10-20% of revenue just by getting some reviews. So I would say the most effective thing to get natural reviews is calling and emailing, and making it as easy as possible for them. So in those emails, give them the direct link to the page where they can leave the review. And we usually give them a choice of like Facebook, Google, and BBB, or House and Facebook, right? So anyone is going to have at least one of those profiles: Facebook, Google, or House. The chances are they're going to have a profile there. And if they don't, just get the review and put it on your site. And that's another really interesting thing you can do is when you get these reviews on Facebook or House or wherever, you can copy and paste them and put them on your site. So you're kind of getting a 2-for-1, which is a great strategy. And that's something that I like to do is have people leave a review on LinkedIn, and then I can take that review and put it in the rest of my marketing material, and I kind of get it in two places. So to answer the question about people just don't respond to it, they just don't leave reviews. That's how it is, and you've just got to be patient with it and stay on these people and get to the point where you're annoying, but not to where you are annoying and a turnoff. And know that you don't need hundreds and hundreds. You just need 10, 20, 30, and you'll be okay. So that's kind of it. I don't see any other questions in here. So I hope you enjoyed learning about reputation, how to promote it, how to build it up, how to manage it. And we will see you all in the next webinar.